All right, so today we're going to talk about what is called the discriminant of a quadratic. The value of the discriminant tells you how many real solutions there are for the quadratic. The value of the discriminant. In the quadratic formula, x is equal to the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2a. The b squared minus 4ac, the value of b squared minus 4ac, this in here, is the discriminant. Not the square root of it, just whatever value there is left under the radical when you square b and you subtract 4 times a times c from it. Okay? That is the discriminant. Now, here's how this works. If b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, there are two real solutions. If b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, that was the case in one of your practice problems yesterday, then there is one real solution. And if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, then there are no real solutions. So what you're going to be doing today is evaluating the discriminant. Once you evaluate the discriminant, you're going to be able to answer the question of how many solutions does the quadratic have? So if we take a look at this question here, what is the number of real solutions? And we're given negative 2x squared minus 3x plus 5 equals 0. So our A is equal to negative 2. The B is equal to negative 3. And the C is equal to 5. So you're going to evaluate B squared minus 4AC. So B squared minus 4AC is the discriminant. So take those values and substitute. So negative 3 squared. Who's talking? Negative 3 squared minus 4 times A, which is negative 2, times C, which is 5. We're just going to find out what that equals. And like I said yesterday, you can type that straight into your calculator. You push 3 negative x squared minus 4 times 2 negative times 5 and hit equals. You have 49. All right, 49 is greater than 0, right? So there are 2 real solutions. If we get x squared equals 6x plus 5. If x squared equals 6x plus 5, we've got to move the 6x and the 5 to the other side of the equal sign. So we would end up with x squared minus 6x minus 5 is equal to 0. So now, what's the a value? And the b value? Good. And c is equal to negative 5. So if we do b squared minus 4ac, b squared minus 4 times a times c. And that goes right into the calculator. And that equals 56. And 56 is greater than 0. So how many solutions? 2 real solutions. Get the idea? Pretty straightforward. So when you're solving a quadratic, the value that's underneath the radical tells you how many answers you should have. If you're trying to solve something like 2x squared minus 3x plus 7 equal to 0, and you're going to use the quadratic formula, when you get to the point where you've got a number under the radical, that tells you how many answers you're going to have at the end, whether it's 2, 1, or no solutions. So let's finish this one while we're here. We got the A. What's the A equal to? And the B is equal to? And C equals. So B squared minus 4 times A times C equals. I get negative 47. All right, so a negative discriminant, how many solutions? No real solutions. All right, because if you think about it, you would have a negative under the radical. And you can't have a negative under the radical, correct? Good. All right, so any questions on what you're going to be doing today? You're just going to be finding the discriminant. Evaluate the discriminant for each equation. Determine the number of real solutions. All right, make sure if there's a distributive property to do or anything like that, that you get that done first. If you have something like 12x times x plus 1 equals -3, we have to put this in standard form first. So distributive property would happen first. 12x times x is 12x squared. 12x times 1 is 12x. We would move the -3 to the other side of the equal sign by adding 3 to each side, so plus 3 equals 0. And then here's our A, here's our B, and here's our C, and you can handle it from there, right? Just make sure that you have this quadratic in standard form before you start evaluating B squared minus 4AC.
Is the formula in the beginning, those formulas are the same from the student?
Yes. But you're only, when you're asked to evaluate the discriminant, this is the quadratic formula. This whole formula is the quadratic formula. When you're evaluating the discriminant, you're only evaluating this portion here, the portion underneath the radical. That's the discriminant. That value tells you how many solutions there are. All right, so your assignment for today is page 245. Problems 25 through 36. Do them on a clean piece of paper. Make sure your name is on it. And those are going to go in the basket when you leave class today.